We'll resume right there. All right, beautiful. Right, so if you're coming in, we're going to just start in a nice seated position here on the mat. If you want to stay up, go right ahead in a standing position, okay, if you want it to be. Nice tall bodies though here in that seated position. As you're coming in, just angling those cameras down if you want me to see what's going on with you. So another nice big inhale here. Opening your mouth for that nice big exhale so those shoulder blades can sink down a bit. If you'll get yourself a little bit taller through that torso, each and every breath is lovely. Another big inhale, releasing those shoulders down again for that big exhale, and we're going to try that one more time. I'm just getting a little dizzy with the movement. Another big inhale. On the focus right there, and exhale. There you go. So let's go ahead and just do a nice big breath here and bring it right back down. I know we have this blocker here of the floor, but we can take it right back up on that inhale. We can pause it right by our ears, everyone, and just slowly lean from side to side, keeping your hips nice and neutral. This is just a little bit of a swaying motion just to warm ourselves up through those sides, those cores, those backs. One more, a little bit deeper. If you want to put a hand down and do a little bit more of a reach, feel free. Come on back up, follow through on the other side, inhaling deeply, exhaling just as deeply. How about we do that again? Keep your hips nice and neutral so your sits bones stay on the mat, and you go right into that lovely side stretch. One more time right here. Excellent. Come right back up to the ceiling with those fingertips. This time lean forward in a flat back stretch. So from the crown of your head to your tailbone is nice and flat. Wonderful. Right back up we go. Inhale a little higher. Hinge over, nice flat back to start with right there, maybe a little bit deeper. Come back another notch, go up a little higher, inhaling. And this time from that nice flat back hinge, you can release gently, slowly into a rounded back, a nice rounded spine right there, and come down only as far as you are comfortable so far. Go ahead and stack yourself up through that spine, and we're going to try that one last time before we come onto our backs on the mat. So nice and flat in this hinge to start with. Arms are right here by your ears still. And then when you're ready, you can release, ground your spine, bring those hands a little bit closer to the floor. Draw your belly button back into your spine, round up. Roll up, shoulders roll back, and you are hopefully a little bit more stretched out. When I say you, I'm always adding myself into that one to join you. So let's go ahead and tuck our tailbones under, pull those belly buttons in, release through the back of your hands on the back of your thighs, or in this lovely hover. And then it's a beautiful release of your spines all the way onto the mat. Knees can stay slightly bent, or you can extend them all the way down onto the mat, whatever feels most comfortable for you. And we're going to go right into this nice inhale, reaching to the sky, letting your hands float over your hips. Nod your chin towards your chest, look down at your toes, and lift up a little bit more than those shoulders, and then come back down. Excellent. Lift up a little higher. There's your inhale. Release up over those hips. Come on up a little bit more. Roll it right back down. This time, if you're going to fully come up and over those legs, take those hands back. Feel that lovely movement as you start to nod your chin, zip up thighs, start to peel up off of that spine, and then gently come up over those legs. Stacking up is your option for one into that tall seated position, and then rounding down. Let's finish up this roll up, coming all the way up and over, whatever is most comfortable for you. As you peel your spine up and you dive down those legs, reaching past those shins, those toes, whatever you can do today, keeping that rounded sensation possibly as you come right back down. So I always give you those two options, however you like to lower your bodies right back down onto the mat before you float those hands down. All right, we do our nice roll up. We're doing our roll over. So we're going to bring those knees into that really nice chair position right up over your hips. You do put some pressure into those palms, nice wide open fingers through those forearms as you float those legs away from your upper body a bit, just a little bit right there, an inch or two. And then you draw them back towards your belly, your face, and lift up that lower tailbone, lower back, float it right back down on the mat. Remember, when we talk about this one, it's not a big, huge move, inhaling and exhaling. It's just a little bit of a release of that lower spine right there from that tailbone through that lower back. And then we try that 2 more times. Here's the inhale, press through those arms, peel your tailbone, a little bit of your lower back, lengthen through that lower back as you place it back down onto the mat. And here we are, nice and neutral in those hips. That looks beautiful. Lengthen right there in that lower spine. Tailbone settles, and you're right here in a nice knee position right up over those hips. You can drop one foot down, keep it nice and bent as you extend the opposite leg to the sky. And then make that decision if you're going to extend it straight out as you go into your circles. So these circles are really way down here in your hip socket is the focal point. As you pause and reverse, just as a nice reminder. Excellent. Come on back around, pause and reverse again. And let's make those circles whatever you want them to be. Making them start right down here in this hip socket, please. Pause and reverse, finish your circles in the opposite direction. Give yourself about 3, possibly 4, depending on how big or small, slow or quick you manage to do those circles. As we finish right up to the ceiling, bend out that knee, place that foot down, the other one starts to come up. You get this great hamstring stretch to start, feel it. And adjust the opposite leg, and then go into those little circles. Aim way down low in those hips. Pause it, reverse it. Opening up that chest. Feeling those shoulder blades sink into the mat. Pause and reverse it again, and now go into a little bit more comfortable for yourself circle. Great. And I'm going to have you come back up, pause, reverse, finish up your circles here in this opposite direction. Excellent. Coming in we go. Last and final pause is right on where we started. So that's when we like to draw both of those knees right back up, right over your hips. So you see that nice straight line there. And we're going to go into our single heel kicks. Stretches. I'm sorry. Just stretch. And then out we go. So heads up or down on your mat or elevated up, trying to get the crown of your head towards the ceiling as you extend out and gently bring the opposite knee in for 3, 2, and 1. And we come all the way back in together. You can stay up or put your head down in between. And now we're going to double it up and circle it around. Out. And in, we're doing those double arm, double legs. Beautiful on those stretches. Out and in. Remember, stay up high with those legs if you want to protect your lower back a little bit more. Or take it a little lower today for a challenge for these last 2. And we'll finish up that last one before we move on in our abdominal series. Gently tugging, so grabbing. Gently one leg and tugging it towards you. If you want to release the opposite leg down, staying neutral in those hips, support your head or put it down on the mat. Any of those options are available for you as you do these gentle little tugs for 4, 3, 2, breathe, and 1. Awesome. Okay, zipped up thighs. We're doing our leg lowers right up underneath your tailbone if you want to, or support your head if you prefer. So set your body up first here, and do feel as if you take it from your toes to your, past your inner thighs, right on up to your belly button is how the zippering goes. And then we start to lower those legs down in that nice zipper position. 1, 2, 3, pause, back up, 2, 3, pause, back down, 2, 3, pause, back up, 2, we're changing up the count, we're coming down 3 counts, 2, 1, and lift. We're gonna lower down 3, 2, 1, and lift. 3, 2, 1, really protect that lower back, be strong in this scoop area, everybody. 3, 2, finishing here as you bend out your knees. Yet again, to finish up with our crisscross. So with my classes, I'm always hoping that you keep that nice wide open elbow to elbow position as you rotate towards the camera. And then come back to the center, look up at the ceiling, and then rotate in the opposite direction. And then back to the ceiling. And then once you establish that nice proud chest, that's when I encourage you to go into that extension of that big toe out as you rotate over. That's the crisscross I like to see. Opened up chest, elbows staying way back, out of that knee position. Instead, aim it into your shoulders. There you go. 4, 3, 2, last one. Excellent job, everybody. So let's float our feet right back down onto the mat and float your head and remove those hands. So now we're back to our starting position, grabbing either a ball or your circle, if you have one of those between those knees today, or nothing at all. So it really is just dependent. If you have something, use it. If you don't have it, no worries, you don't have to use it. We are going to go ahead and set our feet in place though. So nice neutral across your hips, and then bring those hips right up to your knees, right down to your ankles. So we have that nice firm position of our feet into the floor. We're going to work hard on keeping that chest nice and expanded here. And then those shoulder blades are going to stay on the mat. So as you hinge up those hips, I'm just going to open my hands up a little bit so you can see, if you need to, the hinging of the hips with that nice lift. Trying to get from those shoulders through those hips to those knees in that nice straight line, and then release back down. And we're going to continue with that a few times with that nice big lift. So as you start to organize yourself here, all as you lower down, nice and squared up with those shoulders and those hips, let's lift up and hold it there, everybody. Make sure if you have something between those knees, you're very secure with it, because we are going to extend out one leg, just coming out from the hip, same height as that bent knee, and extend out through the toe. And then release that foot back down and roll your foot from your toes to your heels. And let's switch to side number 2. Keeping your hips neutral right here, and then down they go. So if you even need to hold up a bit or just keep them neutral here as you switch to side number 1. And then back down. And then side number 2, you'll notice I'm not aiming up to the sky. I'm coming out of this long angle from your hip through your knee to your toe. And then back down. And then you're going to hinge those hips right back down. So let's try that set one more time with that piece of equipment, possibly in between your knees as you lift up with that nice pelvic lift. Nice neutral across your hips, everyone. Extend out leg 1. Roll the foot back down from the toes to the heels. Extend out 2. back down you come. Hips haven't moved yet. Let's keep them there. Wonderful on that one. Think of how you put your foot back down and then finish with 2. And then right back down and then hinge those hips. Right back down. All right, let's go into our kind of peeling sensation. Still have that piece of equipment there, at least for the first 2 sets, and then we'll add on a little bit. So tuck your tailbone for me. Start to lift that tailbone only. Belly button's coming back towards your spine. You're starting then to peel the rest of your spine up off the mat ever so slowly. So it's slower, more articulating than when we do our pelvic lift. And then it's the same thing when we come back down and put our spine right back down onto the mat. From that heavy heart, mid back, lower back, and tailbone. And you're equally pressing through those heels as you flow through that again, tucking that tailbone. Make sure your chest is nice and proud and open to the ceiling. You're peeling that spine up 1 vertebra at a time, right up until your shoulder blades are still on the mat though. Opened up chest, beautiful. Take it right back down, nice and heavy, heavy, heavy. Lower backs, tailbones down. All right, let's push through those heels. I'm gonna have you hold on to the piece of equipment here. Put those feet back down. Tuck that tailbone. Peel up that spine. I'm going to actually put it over here so you can see everything that I'm doing. Float the knee up now. You're in a bent knee position. So you're kind of parallel with your shin to the floor. Your knee is still over your hip. And bring that foot right back down. You still haven't moved your hips. They're still elevated and neutral. Let's lift the opposite leg up and then toe to heel it back down. Lift it back up, pause it right there, or my extenders that want to go straight up to the ceiling with that straight leg, and then flex it halfway down to the height of the bent knee, point it back up to the sky, flex it back down, point it back up, bend your knee. Now you're back to that chair position, toe to heel. Spine goes down, nice and slow with lots of control. Wonderful. We're going to go ahead and peel that up again and go on to the second leg. So you've seen all those different options so far. We're peeling, we're peeling, we're peeling. We have our hips in place there, nice and neutral. We're on side number 2. So I'm going to do a few of just the bent knees and then the toe to heel down. Lifting up, so just to that bent knee, toe to heel down, so you can continue with that sort of unilateral marching, just one-sided marches, or you can bend the knee and extend the leg up and do leg lowers, pointing the toe and lifts, leg lowers, pointing the toe and lift, leg lower, point the toe and lift, and then bend out your knee here, and we'll go ahead and put that foot right back down with everybody else, and then put our spines right back down. Slow and steady, working through that spine, 1 vertebra at a time until that tailbone settles, and you're done with that whole set of bridge work. So I did have you hold on to the ball or the circle or whatever it is you had. And you can utilize that to sit yourself into that nice tall seated position just because we have it in our hands as we inhale. You're going to nod your chin and start to peel yourself up into that nice tall seated position. Oh, yes. Wonderful. And then I need to just shimmy back a little bit so I can get back into the frame. So we're going to go ahead and put those feet into imaginary cement up against a brick wall. You're going to hold on to your piece of equipment, and right here with those shoulders, I want you to roll those shoulders down and back. And then I want you to do that one more time. Lift them up, nice big roll, set them right back down. So now we're really conscientious about the position of our bodies for these fine twists. So we're going to give that piece of equipment a little bit of a, not a pulse, but a squeeze. And then we're going to continue that squeeze as we rotate and twist in that spine. Now keep that pressure Come back to your starting position and release the pressure. So now you're back to where you started. Let's go into the other direction. Get a little taller. Shoulders are down, remember. Pressing into that piece of equipment. Coming back around, drawing that belly button in and releasing. And now let's smooth everything out. So we can go in direction one. Come all the way around. Keep the pressure if you can. Shoulders are out of your ears. Bodies are nice and tall, right around the axis of your spine. As you continue twisting one more time, all the way here. Hello. You have not moved those hips. Come all the way back around, lovely. As you keep applying pressure, you are back to your starting position, and then you get to release that pressure and release those arms and put that equipment just out of the way. We are now officially done with that. So let's go ahead and move on. Bending those knees, belly buttons are down onto your mat. Hips are also down on your mat. I'm joining you with the water from all that talking. So remember, belly's down, trying to keep your hips down onto the mat as well. Let's go ahead and do a little upper back extension. So I want you to put one palm down on the mat, put the other palm on top of it, and then put your forehead down on your knuckles. Right there. Elbows are extended out. When you take a nice big inhale, fill up your lungs. When you're ready to open your mouth and exhale, elevate from the elbows through the forehead. A couple of inches off the mat, and then release back down. So your hips are on the mat. Your belly button is drawn in. We're going to try that again with the rotation. Inhale. Open your mouth. Start your exhale. Rotate. Peek under one elbow. Look back to your mat and down. Release. Switching to the other side. As you get ready, you'll lift. Then rotate. We'll go to the opposite elbow. Peek. Come back to your starting spot and down. One more time all the way around as you're ready to lift up. Then rotate. Elbows are extended out, but you're peeking under one side. You're keeping that extension, and then you release down. Last and final, everyone. Lift. Rotate. Stay in your upper back extension, feel that upper back, and then release back down onto the mat. Wow, excellent job. Keep your head down. You know you can use that as the option, or you can come up onto your elbows for our single heel kicks. Just make sure if you're on your elbows, they are directly under your shoulders. Perfect. So drawing that first leg, we bring it into our nice tight flex. You should feel your hamstrings and your glutes. Then you release it and go into a pointed toe. Then you release it and you lift the entire leg from that hip to those toes. And then straight back down on the floor. So we go into a flex of the other side. Then a point. Big straight leg lifts and releases down, keeping your hips down. Make sure you're proud in your chest. So look on the floor in front of you a couple of feet. Now lift the entire leg and release down. Draw that belly button up into your spine, flexing, pointing, straight leg, lift, release. Here we go. Flex, point, straight leg, lift, release. Last one here. Flex, point, out, lift, down. Beautiful. Nice and strong bodies there. Come back with your hands, ready to prep yourself from your breaststroke. So flip those palms up, extend them out, facing each other, flip them around, circle all the way back into that breaststroke position. And then look down at your mat. Everything comes back together, swoops around, lift. All right, think of your body here. Belly's up and in. Hips are down on the mat, extending that head up to the ceiling and extending those legs open and then zip them and lower. let's hold this picture. Take a picture right there. That's beautiful. Nice strong body right there. And then let those hands come into your lower back. So whatever stretch you need, I'm going right into lower back there, giving it that little kind of hidden thumbs into the lower back, releasing up those shoulder blades a bit. All right, open, open, open. Okay, my friends, here we go, triples. Settle your hips down. Go into those glutes and hamstrings 3 times with those heels. 3, 2, that's it. 1, lift up that body, go into that picture that you took earlier. If you want to flip your head around just to give your neck a saving grace. 3, 2, 1, come on up. Each time I like to flip my head. 3, 2, 1, breaststroke positions. Lovely. Here it is. 3, 2, 1. Hold this one. This is it. Hold it. Awesome. Zip those thighs, place those palms very tight against your chest so those elbows can point all the way back as you go all the way into that little piece of heaven stretch. Enjoy your child's pose. So find a way that you can enjoy it with your knees together or apart, whatever is most comfortable for you. Breathe through that, please. Okay, so if you opened up your knees like I did a little bit more today, bring them back up underneath your hips. Bring your hands back so that they are up underneath your shoulders. Get ready for a tricep dip position from this tabletop. And then we can extend on and do a little bit more if you choose to on your dips. So keep those arms nice and tight. When you lower your head, push the hips forward 1 inch, hinge at your hips and drop your forehead down towards the mat, and then push those bodies right back up. You should definitely feel it in your triceps area, everybody. So if, as you come down, you do not feel it anymore because you've built up those beautiful, strong muscles, you can extend your hands out, bring those shoulders right over those wrists because you've now dropped your hips, and go into the same tricep style dip. Just a little bit lengthening of that entire body. Do not just drop your head, please. So if your head is dropping closer, keep it in that nice alignment with your spine. Push back up. We're going to try one more, and we're going to hold that one in that beautiful position. Nice, strong bodies there, everybody. Hold it for 4. It's 3. Last 2. Last 1. Belly just sort of melts into the mat. Come down, extend arms overhead. So, excellent. So we're swimming now. Take one arm up and take the opposite leg up. But as you do that, make sure your shoulders are back, please. Switch to the opposite sides. Don't hunch up over those shoulders, please. Switch. Look down into your mat. Switch or put your cheek down. Go into your flutter. Shoulders are back. Bellies are pulled up. Hips are down. Excellent. 4. Fluttering or slow and controlled. 3, 2. Last and final 1, everybody. Excellent job. Breathe it all the way down into the mat. And then slide your elbows back. Elbows down. Eyes are looking into the mat. Palms are down into the mat. Push through your palms. As you breathe up in your swan prep, you're lengthening through the crown of your head. Your elbows are staying down on the mat. You are long and strong right here. Now release and roll yourself back down. Look down at the mat. Wonderful. Push through those arms again. Lift up the crown of your head. Open up that chest. Shoulders are down. Bellies are in. Release back down. That looks gorgeous. If you are straightening those arms, slide the palms back to your chest level about. Keep those elbows pointing back, just like we do on our prep. We extend the arms this time though. Nice. Look in one direction for me. I was looking at you anyways. Come all the way around, looking the opposite direction. Keeping those bellies in, look forward. Feel those inner arms to those ribs. Anybody want to lift those toes, knees to your hips? Let's start to make it a rock, everybody. So rock those legs down, lift those bodies up. Whether you're staying on your elbows or extended arms, check out one side. Breathe to the opposite side. Look to your starting position. Roll on down with the upper body. As it comes down, lift up those toes and knees, possibly. Last and final one. Roll it up. Find your spot. Check out one side. Look to the other. That looks great. Drawing that belly button and shoulders are down. Your perfect position. So release down slowly. Feel those ribs. Looking at the mat, toes and knees came up to your hips. Now they zip together as they lower down. And you get to push yourself up through that table one last time. All the way back to your little piece of heaven stretch. Release, release, release. All right. Let's come up and out of that child's pose. And let's go ahead and find your spot on your side. Organize your body so that you feel most comfortable in keeping your spine straight. So whether you're all the way down with your head, you're possibly with your head in your hand, or you're up on your elbow. So you've seen those before. Let me drink my water before I kick it. And then we're piped up with those legs at that top corner of your mat. Everybody take your hand that's not touching the ground, wrap it around your ribs, and lift up that bottom rib right here. So rib cage comes down to the bottom rib. Lift it up so now it's not touching your fingers anymore, and maintain that entire rib connection throughout the entire set as we come forward with those flex flexes and that nice point back. Very nicely done. Flex flex and back. So you can and should maintain that rib connection, that lifting sensation, whether you're all the way lying down on the mat or you're up here on your elbow. Either way. Great job, everyone. So we are going to scissor today, right here, off the balance of your hip. And like we said before, that's too much pressure. You can always double up your mat. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's go ahead and lift that leg with a point and then down with a flex. So if you find yourself sinking into our ribs, pull yourself back up. Wonderful. Lengthen that line. One more up and down. And all the fun begins at your circles here. Draw with the big toe. Add a little bit more oval shape to it. And then reverse your circles. Once again, draw with your big toe. Make that a circle, possibly an oval as you start to increase. 3, 2, last and final 1. We're going to bring that knee up. We're going to let you come down all the way. Not a collapse, but definitely a release. So think of that as that release right here into those outer hips. And let's think about our side obliques again. So coming straight, definitely heads are down, definitely in a straight line here, definitely lifting up that rib cage so you're not really pushing into it. You're lifted, you're in control. So you are utilizing the strength of those legs as we lift and then gently float back down. Thinking not only of that outer hip of the top leg, but the inner thigh of the bottom leg and then float back down. Your pelvic floor and those stabilizer muscles as well, keeping you stacked up and back down. Let's glue them together, everyone. Lift, float, lift. I like that. And float. Palm is coming up. Possibly 2 arms are helping that upper body to lift and float. We'll try that a few more times. Lifting and floating. That's a little shaky on my part today. Lifting, let's see you. There you go. That's gorgeous. Float it right back down and pull those knees right back up. All right, we have been adding on this fun move every once in a while, I think in this class, maybe my other one. You are in a frog position here. You can stay lower down, or knowing that we're going to go into our side bends, you can come up onto your elbow. 2 choices. Bring those knees in towards your shoulders, and then feel as if when you push out, you are zipping those thighs right back up. You're pulling in, you're pushing out. You're like a little frog. Your feet are in a Pilates V. So that means your heels are together, but your toes are in a V shape. There we go. In and out. Give yourself time for one more. As you pull it in, bend your knees back together. Float your knees onto the mat. And then push yourself up into your position for your side bends. You'll get your stretch, no worries, because we are nice and strong right here between those 2 panes of glass. You can be on your elbow if you want to, so go down if you need to, and then float that hip up. Come on over. Reach up to the sky, please. Open up that shoulder girdle area, and then float down onto your hip. And start to add a couple of your options. You can keep that knee down, but extend the top leg. Lifting. Yes, please add that swoop, of course. Back up and back down. Breathe again in. Go right into the side bend. X. Breathe. Rotate maybe a little lower towards your hip. That's a little bit more intensive of rotation. And back down. And then, yes, if you want to add that second straight leg, weight is still here on that top leg. This is just kind of a kickstand back here. Here we go, side bending, lifting. You can rotate, like we talked about, a little bit closer towards your hips, maybe even down towards your feet. And there was that kickstand right there. And then we float ourselves back down onto our hip, gently, slowly. And then that puts us into this nice tall seated position. So we can go into an open leg rocker. So that puts us right here. You will need the space behind you on your mat. You will start with a nice shoulder roll here. Float those legs up. Position 1 is back behind those thighs. Pull that belly button in, everybody. Round that lower back and then feel that rock. And then that right back up position. You can try that again. Make sure you stay rounded in your lower back. Only go onto your shoulder blades. Yes, try that again. Only on the shoulder blades. Don't go any higher, please. If you're full on open leg rocking, you've got that wide leg in V position. Rock. Last one, my friends, you're going to stay in your balance. So once you come back up, stay in your balance. Bring the legs together, bend out so you're in a bent knee position. Release your hands, find your support here. Fingers facing you, onto your elbows, fingers away from you. Start to draw your circles with your knees. And then reverse them. Maybe go to straight legs and in one direction. Open your chest up, please, and then reverse them. You have 2 more, 1 in each direction. Breathing, chest is open, you are strong. Last one here. Come on around, swoop. Bend out. If you're on your elbows, push yourself back up. Everybody come over to their little hug of their legs close to their chest. Awesome. So let's do all that on side number 2. We're looking really good. So find your spot, make your decisions, start to pike up those legs, make sure they're at a gentle little bend right here at your hips. Wrap around, find that rib, engage it, engage everything, and then let's start. 1, 2, with that nice point back. Everybody in between 2 panes of glass on those upper bodies? Yes. Wonderful. Bring it back. Give it 1 more, and then let's go from that to your little scissors. So they can be little or they can be big. Either way, you make that little quick, or big. Try that again for 4, 3, 2, last one. Okay, my friends, here we go with our lifts and our flexes. So it's a point on the way up. Readjust if you're sinking down a little bit. This side seems to be my sinking side. So really adjusting and holding steady for our circles. We don't want to sink into those shoulder girdles. We want to be strong up here, strong right here, and strong right here. And then we'll reverse it. Draw that belly button back up into your spine. Hello, kitty, kitty, for 4 and 3. Last 2, last 1. Really nicely done. A lot of hard work on that side. Come on down. Find a way to open your body up into a nice big stretch right there. And then go ahead and lengthen yourself all the way out. Okay. Perfect. We are going right into those leg lifts. Single legs to start with, and then they release back down. So it's a 1, 2, nice and tight, and then a float. 1, 2, and then a float. Now glue them together and really start to lift and lower. Together they lift and lower. Wonderfully stacked up hips. They are lifting. Hand that was giving you some stability is now starting to come away. You're really relying on upper bodies as well as lower bodies. If you're not quite sure about getting yourself with that upper body, take the hand that's high and then push up off the bottom hand and come up a little higher if that helps you. But whatever you're doing, we're finishing up with our last and final lift. And then release. And then draw those 2 knees up. They're coming up mostly to get a stretch first. But we are starting to add in our little frog maneuver. So you can try and stay down with your head, or you can come with your head into your hands. All you're doing right here is putting those heels together, opening up in a V right here, and then pushing out, and then drawing it back in, and pushing out, drawing it back in. I'm going to come up to my elbows. Easier for me to maintain those stacked up hips. Draw those belly buttons in. 2 more. Zipperoonie. Bring it in, hold it, hold it, hold it. Let those knees close, float to the floor, and then either stay on your elbow for the side bends or come right up onto those wrists. Nice. And we're kind of flowing through this quickly, just because we love that side bend so much. I'm going to look up high and then float down. And then you're adding your options, everyone, whether you're on that extended leg. We love to add those swoops. And then float ourselves down, always gently on that hip. Thank you, thank you. Inhale back up. Flow, flow, flow. Up. So remember what we talked about. If you come a little bit lower toward your hip on that rotation, it's a little bit more intense for sure. And back down. And if anybody wants to join me, tucking the bottom leg up underneath, you're still pressure on the top leg. Over into your side bend, lift up. If you're rotating and you want to twist these hips and face them towards the mat, you can try that as you float yourself back down. And we're going to do one last one on that nice big inhale. Just float into it. Don't even stop. Go into your side bends. Everybody's seeing all your different options. Choose whatever you like. Please breathe. That always helps as you lower yourself back down. Gently, gently, gently. And then come off those wrists. Beautiful job. Very nice, strong bodies there. Okay, so I said, I lied before that we weren't going to use your piece of equipment again. But I was thinking to give our wrists and our shoulder girdles just a little mini break, we would go into our thigh stretch. It's always nice to have your equipment if you want to when we're doing our thigh stretch. So if it's close by, grab it. If it rolled away, don't worry about it. We're going to come up off of our heels into that nice straight long body. I cannot see my head in the frame, but that's okay. You want to see that from your shoulders, hips, and knees is that nice straight line, and then your head and your neck is in that nice straight line too. So a little bit of hip distance apart with those knees, holding onto your equipment if you're choosing to, and we're going back into the start of our thigh stretch. So right back into that thigh. Find your spot, and then bring it right back up. So we're trying not to drop our heads or crick our necks. All right, let's add on, my friends. Come back into it. Rotate through the crown of your head to your knees. Just to your starting position, and then right back up. And then back we go again. Rotate in the opposite direction. Come back to your starting position and then back up. Wonderful. Do that again. Remember, squeeze, engage those lower bodies as well as these side twists. So utilize those thighs and hamstrings, those quads as you come back up. Bring it back to side number 2 to finish over here. Come out of it, come back up. So we will go back into the original thigh stretch. Then we'll hinge at our hips and we'll slide down our imaginary brick wall. So from the back of your head to your tailbone is going to be straight. So come back into your thigh stretch to start. Hinge at your hips here. Slide down your imaginary wall, brick wall, so you can't move. Excellent. And then release it. Thank you. Now I promise no more with the ball. But since we're here, I figured we'll go into a tabletop and get some of this beautiful animal position workout that we like to do. So we'll start in your tabletop into a really excellent cat stretch. So as you start to pull that belly button up to your spine, you're doing that great rounded spine, feeling the spread of your shoulder blades. And then we'll go into a reverse. Keep that belly up and into your spine, please, even as you come into your cow. I don't want a big, heavy-duty sway. Instead, come up into your cat. Go into your very controlled cow. Lengthen, 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 please. Collarbone to pubic bone. Thank you. Very nice. And then go neutral, and we will go into our bird dog while we're here today. So one palm is up. Opposite leg is touching back with your toes, floating that arm up by your ear, and then floating the back leg up with your toenail pointing downward. Great bird dog. Point there. Release up underneath you. Again, it's a tabletop position. And then switch to side number 2. And I'm just going to rotate slightly just so I can see everybody. Floating up. Leg floats up. Let's see where that leg is in the back there. Neutral hips. Release it back down. Tuck it right back up underneath your body. You're in a tabletop. Settle those hips back just that little bit. All right, let's float up and let's do a little bit more of our work from this tabletop. So bird dog, out, leg, arm floats up to your ear, leg floats up in the back, point your big toe down. Make your hips neutral. Now tuck up underneath the elbow to the knee and then extend out. Elbow to the knee and point. Elbow to the knee, keep your head straight and point. Elbow to the knee and your last big point. Reassess, realign. Looking down at the mat, your ears by your arm, your big toes pointing downward. Excellent. Up underneath you, you go. And switching to side number 2. So here we go. Reach up that arm, make sure it's parallel to the floor, as well as the opposite leg. Draw them up underneath and tap. And reach. 2. And reach. 3. And reach. Last one comes in and taps, and then you extend out, and that's your big final reach. Everything's in that beautiful position. Float your fingers and your toes down, tuck up underneath your body, and then settle your hips back. All right, today we are going to add our third level with those nice extensions out to the side, shoulder height and hip height. So float yourself up. And I'm just going to face you so that you can see it from this position. Same tabletop. Same bird dog position with a point. I'm pointing at you. My arm is near my ear. My back leg has floated up, just like yours. Bird dog. Excellent. Don't forget oppositions. If you want to try to come out to the side, the arm stays at shoulder height, the leg stays at hip height. And then you bring it back to that forward position. You are rock solid in the base that you created. Your head is long from the crown of your head to your tailbone. Your belly button is pulling up and in to support all that wonderful hard work. You're coming back to your starting position and pointing. And then fingers and toes go down. They tuck up underneath you. And we go to side number 2. You can do a stretch quick if you want to. All right, make sure you float that arm up by your ear. Then float the back leg up. I'm peeking at you, so I will be a little crimped in my head, but I want to see you. And then bring it back. Breathe yourself through this toughie. And then bring yourself back. Look at all that balance and control. Beautiful. Strong, strong, strong. Hold it out on this last point. Body is reassessed and realigned. That looks great. Fingers and toes go down. Palms and knees come in. Send those hips back. Give yourself that lovely stretch. Oh, yes. Definitely deserve a stretch. All right, let's come right back up. The dog is having a fit because the UPS guy's here. So we are going to stand ourselves up and finish up with a nice stretch. So as you start to practice walking back, pushing your heels into the mat, lifting up that tailbone to the sky, head is staying folded over, belly buttons are pulled up and in. Take your time to curl your bodies up, slow and steady. I know half of my friends love to jump up quick, but take your time. Roll your shoulders as you're getting a nice, strong, secure position. I'm just going to rotate here. And we're going to do a little bit of our final stretch and balance and control. So do make sure that you have a nice secure position for your body. Let's go into a nice big inhale while we're here. We are going into our tree position, my friends. So as you float those hands up to the ceiling, float your palms together. Settle the heels of your palms firmly together. Your fingers are nice and soft and gentle, but those heels of your palms really press in, and then they cinch up into the center of your chest. Your shoulders are down. You have found a focus point, so when you're ready to draw that leg towards the support leg, and then just open up the knee as you start to come into your hinge at your hips. So you're following your focus point down. You're still steady here with your base in your chest. You have hinged at your hips. You're finding a way to realign that leg so you get the outer hip stretch, the inner thigh stretch, the balance, the control, everything all together, settling in your breathing. When you're ready, you're going to breathe yourself up. Keep following that focus line from under you to in front of you. There, hello. And then float that leg down if it's not down already. Nice, big inhale. Let's try side number 2. Here we go, down to your chest. Start to practice flowing everything together. Hinging at your hips. Breathing, finding that focus line. Readjust if you want to. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Please settle down. Come out of your hinge. Keep following your focus line. End up nice and tall. Big inhale. Float that foot down. Side by side with the other. Up to the sky we go. Soft knees. Lean back into that full front body stretch. Make sure you're pulling that belly button back in. Support that lower back. All right, we are going to hinge again. Keep your arms by your ears. You're going to make a long line as you hinge from your fingertips back to your tailbone, as if you're going to come down to the floor in this big long hinge. But before your fingers kind of touch the floor, you bend your knees, and then you swoop up. Inhale, lift. Softly lean back. One last one. Stand up tall. Go right into your hinge. Nice flat back, long from fingertips to your tailbone. Here we go. Are we going to touch the floor? No. We're going to bend our knees instead and just swoop up that final big inhale. I'll face you again. And then that final big exhale. Right down to your heart, your center, and then out we go, my friends. Excellent job. Very nicely done.